think the people in this community, if they were able to come in and see these facilities, they would understand that concern, and they would have the same concerns. There's numerous concerns, but there's the safety and health issues, I would say, would be there's very poor air circulation in the facilities. There's asbestos in the tile in the classrooms in the high school. Heating and cooling issues they deal with, water leakage.
In this building, we have very little natural light. In this building, we have very little handicap accessories for people that might need that. If I tell them that the halls were built for students that are half the size of the students that will be coming in there, if I told them that the ceiling tile was falling down, or that the plumbing is 50 years old and sometimes doesn't work, if I would tell them that the electric that runs through the building is not up to the quality that we would want in a building today, if I would tell them that the heating and air quality of the building isn't to the degree that they would have in their own home. Their lockers were designed for middle school students, so the lockers are maybe 6 or 8 inches wide. So the students know that, so all the book bags are lined up in the main hallway in that 100 feet from the main door to the office. A pile of book bags there every day.
Well, the foods lab, you use more than 3 microwaves and the circuit blows. And there's not many plugs at all. But, I mean, if you look up sometimes, like the ceilings look like they're getting ready to fall down. The tiles they have wet spots where like they could fall down anytime.
But it's really a struggle for me, being in the room that I am so small. A lot of our rooms are really, really small and kind of falling apart. A lot of my floor tiles are coming up, and I've had quite a few kids trip over them. The room that I was in was actually designed to be a kindergarten classroom, and it's now been converted to 4th graders. So there's not a lot of, I have 22 students at a time generally. There's not a lot of room for me to walk around. I've actually had to design a traffic pattern that the students are allowed to walk around the classroom. We don't have bathrooms in the upper halls for the students, so they have to go down 2 or 3 different flights of stairs just to get to the bathroom, clear on the opposite end of the building. So anytime a student needs to use the restroom, or if I have to send the class on a restroom break, they're gone for a long, long time, and it takes them a long time to get back. And it's just a lot of up and down and up and down. And the stairwells are really, really narrow.
The first year I was here, I went in to set up some computers, and I couldn't find the outlet because it was behind a file cabinet and there was only one in a room. So there's one outlet that's going to feed a whole room. We've got 5 computers in there, an overhead projector, possibly a projector card if they decide to use that, and they've got one outlet to run it on. Our science labs, our students are a great disadvantage because we really do not have good science lab stations. So they're working mostly from their desks. We do have some, but they're designed, again, for middle school kids. Tables are very small, and the utensils that they have to use that are built in are very small.
Green Middle School Science Lab is about this big. There's a table this size with a sink in there that you would never want to get your lunch anywhere near this. And sometimes the water runs, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it goes down the drain, sometimes on the floor.
We're teaching science. It's a hands-on science curriculum. Applaud the teachers again for what they want to do so that the students can experience it. But we don't have sinks in all of our rooms, and we're not able to do everything that the teachers would like to do.
I don't have a sink, so I teach the states of matter, and I'm having to work with solids, liquids, and gases, and I don't have a sink, and so I'm constantly having to have buckets or things. But then again, I have my hot plate, which I can't plug in, and then I only have a limited number of outlets. And so I'm not able to set up a listening center with headphones for my English language arts class, which affects the way I'm able to teach.
Students who are scheduled into gym class or music must leave that building, walk out in the cold, rain, snow, sleet, ice, to get from their lockers at the high school to the gym so that they can participate in physical education activities or in music.
Beginning of algebra class, one of the students says, "Why is it always freezing in here?" And I thought, well, that's a good question, because the building's old and they can't keep the heat and the windows don't work, and it snows in the room when the windows are closed and locked, and it's just not an efficient building.
The sinks in the high school, some of them don't turn on. They don't get hot water, they don't get cold water. It's really cold during the winter, it's really hot in the summer. I had a classroom that's right above the boiler room, and to get cool, we sat on the windowsill. We had the windows open and we had our backs to the windowsill.
There's a sign on my window that literally says, "Don't open this or the window will fall out." And the part is hanging there.
I have a wall at one of the buildings that is leaning outward, and I have to check it every day because I fear that with a big wind, that brick is going to come down on someone. There is a tunnel under Smithville Elementary that goes from one end of the building to the other. It is made of sandstone. Basically, the foundation is sandstone. Because it's sandstone, it holds moisture. That causes items to be borne into the air, which can set off all kinds of allergens. And we do have kids who are, every fall, they've got their appointments to go and get their allergy tested because maybe they were fine June, July, and August, and the parents, again, want to know what's going on.
There was things that surprisingly took me away from being an instructional leader. Things like boilers breaking down, pipes breaking that run water systems breaking, gas outages, electric power outages that happen fairly frequently, and that takes me away from the instructional mode.
And part of the problem is even a lot of the things that are wore out we can't even get parts for because the fixtures are old. If we can find salvage parts, we do that. Sometimes we end up making parts. It's just an old building, that's all. And
handicap accessibility, isn't that something we're ever going to be able to financially achieve? One building is a little bit better than the other in that building can house many rooms on one floor and a few rooms on the other floor. And then we do have 7 levels at Smithville Elementary.
You know, we kind of have a saying at the middle school, if we have heat, light, and running water, it's a good day at Green Middle School.
You know, even one committee stated that if we don't do something, our district will either be, consolidated with another district at some point because people will just leave, or we would be looking at someone taking over.
Let's say, well, Northwestern has new buildings, Norwing has new buildings, Worcester has new buildings, Orville has new buildings.
We need new buildings, and I see Orville and I see Worcester, and I'm just like, what did they have that we don't deserve a different building? We don't deserve a new building, because their buildings are beautiful, and I don't understand why we can't get what we need.
construction. I mean, it costs a lot of money to go in to fix things to where they could, number one, where they'd be up to code. Number two, you know, over the course of the next 20 to 30 years or whatever, you're going to have $14 million in those buildings, and you're still going to have those buildings. And they're wore out.